Well, we were expecting England to get the job done, and that they have. Now, do you call that a clinical, easy win, or do you say that had their moments? Who knows what could have happened if Afghanistan would have managed to get 140 out? Anyway, England are on the board, just like New Zealand, and Afghanistan have to endure their first defeat on Australian soil. What was their debut T20I game in these parts of the world? This is ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. Anil Kumble with me. How would you sum up that performance over England? Would you say, that was easy, we got the job done? Or would you say that was more scary than we would have liked to imagine, or more hiccups rather in that chase than we would have liked to imagine?
No, I think these are, tricky scores. When you have 115 to get or 112 to get, you sort of tend to say, okay, you can take your time, and there's no rush to hit those boundaries, and that's what probably England were thinking, especially David Malan. And he got stuck a bit, and suddenly a couple of wickets with tricky spinners. We saw there was considerable bounce, so you need to get used to that as a batter. And with Afghanistan spinner, it's not just the bounce, you need to pick from the hand as well. So that got a bit tricky, but eventually you know that you're going to get through. What was surprising was that 1 over right at the end. I think it was the left arm seamer came back, and Rashid had still 1 over. And then Liam Livingstone is a smart cricketer. He realized that, look, this is the over I'm just going to go after. And I think that over, England got about 12, 14 runs in that over, and then it was game over. It's one of those things where 112, you either get it in 12 overs or you sort of do it like this. It was one of those things. You take that.
The only thing if I look at that scorecard, would be curious about as we look at even trends and patterns that could be set early in the World Cup. As you think England's 6-hitting machine, they're going to smash a number of sixes. 1 6 in that innings, Anil. Liam Livingstone, 29 of 21, 3 boundaries. I thought Liam Livingstone bats 20, he's going to get 3 sixes out of those. 6 hitting is not going to be easy.
It's not that easy, but I think that's the way that they approach their game. Perhaps because of the low score that we saw. If England were batting first, then perhaps things could have, they would have probably been a lot more aggressive than what they had to be. But their game revolves around 6 hitting. Their batters are such that a couple of dot balls, the first thing that comes to their mind is a 6. So it's going to be tougher because of the bigger grounds, bigger boundaries rather. So it's going to be tougher for England to hit those sixes. They'll still have to work their way around. We saw that with Australia chasing down 200. Yes, you need to hit sixes, but at the same time, you can't forget those 2s and 3s, because this, when you have a large boundary, there are gaps as well. So that's where you can pick those 1s, 2s and convert that. So that's something that I think India going forward will also have to keep in mind.
I mean, if you look at this Perth game and you saw Mark Wood bowl the way he did in the beginning, India play a game here against South Africa. It's not going to be an easy game, I'm thinking, and perhaps India also looking at what kind of bowlers they'd like to play at Perth.
Yes, it's important that you don't want to think too far ahead, but when you get to Perth, you'll have to play a different game, surely, because of the bounce. One is you don't have time to get used to. It's not like you're playing a match there and then playing another match in Perth for you to get used to. You straight away come in. South Africa is a formidable team, we know that. Fast bowlers, either you can get excited and really go bang, bang, bang and then get hit, use the pace, but otherwise it's not easy for a batter to adjust. There's still time for India to think of Perth.
All right, fair enough. So we'll save that conversation for when we get there. They have a job to do at the MCG against Pakistan. Both these two teams, England and Afghanistan, also now go to the MCG. On Tuesday, they'll play Ireland and New Zealand respectively. So let's cast perhaps more thorough judgment on them, and we've seen a bit more. Hard luck to Afghanistan. Wouldn't have been the ideal venue to start their campaign of the World Cup in Australia. England, on the other hand, they keep the pace with New Zealand and what could very well turn out to be a 3-way contest in that group. Anil Kumble, thank you very much. That's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed your first day with us in the studio.
Yes, it was wonderful. Wonderful to be back, and World Cup is always exciting. We have already seen 2 wonderful games, New Zealand and England win today.
Yeah, and tomorrow you can't be objective as you were today, so we'll try and get more out of you between India and Pakistan from the heart and not the mind. We saw Fleming Moody have a real crack.
Oh yes,
We-
that's
we'll-
the beauty of World Cups.
Yeah,
You always have those, not just on-field banter
Yeah.
and competitions and rivalry, but off-field as well.
All right, we look forward to Anil Kumble's thoughts then tomorrow. Thank you so much, Anil. And do join us. We will be live in the morning. We have Sri Lanka versus Ireland. Morning if you're in our part of the world. In India, do join us for build up to that one, 8 a.m. Indian Standard Time. And we'll have you engaged through the day. Anil Kumble will be with us, and we'll get a number of guests as well joining us from the teams that are in action. And no need to build it up. India-Pakistan to follow. Join us on day 2 on ESPN Cricket for T20 time.